Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The House Hack. I'm Justine from Lily Helena Design House, and today we're speaking with Fabric, who sell curtains, blinds, shears. So without further ado, let's jump inside.
I'm Justine from Lily Helena, and I'm an interior designer. A while ago, I realized that my clients were finding it hard navigating through the local market and making choices for their new homes. So that's why I created The House Hack, a series of videos curated around the typical home buyer, helping you save money, make more educated choices when purchasing your hefty investments, and ultimately enjoy in turning your house into a home.
Hi Isaac.
Hi Justine.
So good to see you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for showing us around your place and talking to us about your products today.
Yes.
Do you want to just give us a little bit of a brief about Fabric?
So, as you know, my name is Isaac. I am the third generation to a family-run business. We've been operating since 1986.
Oh wow.
Yes, quite a long while. It was originally started by my grandfather, passed down to my father, and now passed down to me. So I become the third generation.
Fantastic.
We've been supplying furnishing fabrics to the Maltese markets for upwards of 35 years now.
Okay, excellent. So let's jump right to it and tell the audience a little bit about all the products you've got. So the first one I want to talk about is what's right in front of us here.
Curtains.
Curtains and shears.
Yes.
Okay, so I love this wave curtain. I want you to explain to our viewers what a wave curtain is.
So yeah, as you can see, our leading works is that of curtains, with the most contemporary type of pleats today being what is called a wave gathering.
Kind of like a ripple, right?
Exactly. As you can see, one fold goes in, one fold goes out. It's, again, the most contemporary type of gathering. This is a completely automated system. More and more clients today are opting to choose this system.
I mean, Isaac, how easy is it to go for an automated system? Is it really difficult when it comes to electrics and installation?
Yeah, so the old type of thinking was that an automated system is going to include a lot of wires, a lot of know-how and all this. It's not the case today. We have two systems available. We have the system that you're seeing here, which is completely battery operated. It operates via a lithium-ion battery. Maybe you can see it back here. It is completely concealed by the last pleat of the curtain.
Okay.
No electrics are required. It will give you anywhere between 6 to 8 months of usage, depending on how many times obviously you open it in a day. And then all you'll have to do is take off the battery and charge it like you would a standard mobile.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Okay, can we open them up again?
Yes, so as you can see, there are two ways in which you can open it. Well, actually three, because you could also sync it up to a smart system, but we don't get involved in the technicalities of that.
Okay, all right.
What we will set for you is a sensor touch, which will allow you to just lightly pull the curtain and the system will operate on its own.
Nice.
However, besides that, you'll also have a remote where you can open and close it as you wish.
Excellent.
Through experience, I can tell you that you're going to be using the sensor touch more than anything else.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Now I can see in this setup you've got the shear behind the curtain, which is usually the way I do things as well.
Yes.
And I love that you've actually got kind of like a dap there so that you can conceal the rod onto the ceiling.
Yes.
Now usually what I do for my clients is I leave about 25 centimeter dap for shear wave and then followed up with the curtain wave.
In a wave as well. Generally there are two types of waves that you can go for, one of 6 centimeters and one of 8 centimeters. They both have more or less the same effect. The difference is the depth in between each one. We have found through experience that we take a middle ground approach and work with runners that are about 6.5 centimeters in depth. And this is the effect that you will have.
I love it.
It's sort of in between a normal wave and a mini wave. It's probably the nicest effect you can achieve. As you mentioned, yes, the bulkheads, because most clients today are having gypsum soffits, should be crafted to 25 centimeters.
Perfect.
So when opening and closing, the curtains do not disrupt each other.
Exactly. And
otherwise the wave will not come out.
And the curtain looks like it's coming all the way from the ceiling and you can hide the rod, which I love. Super. Well, I think we've given a very good overview of curtains and shears. Shall we move on and look at some fabrics?
For sure.
Oh wow, there's so many samples. How would you even know what one to choose from, say, between an open plan and a bedroom?
So the first question we ask clients is where they would like to start. If they would like to start, for example, with the open plan, the number one rule of thumb is that we try to match the tonality of the heavy curtain to that of the sofa. So let's say, for example, a client has a sofa that is on a taupe color, which is probably the trendiest color right now.
Right.
Taupe would be something similar to that, sort of in between grey and brown. It is a very, very contemporary color. We generally try to match the tone of the heavy curtain to that of the sofa to
see.
keep consistency throughout.
Okay.
There's no need to match the colors exactly. The important thing is that we stay on more or less the same scale.
Okay.
And that's important.
And what about for a bedroom? How do you decide
For a bedroom,
then?
the same concept applies. However, this time with the headboard. So let's say the headboard is on, I don't know, again, even a color blue or something like that. Then we would go for a similar color. Let's say a gray.
Okay, so a couple of shades apart is fine, just not something completely
Exactly.
different.
Actually, it's probably more appropriate to have them shades apart, but within the same lines.
Okay, super. Now, I did ask this question a lot when it comes to open plan and bedrooms. Open plan because of the glare of the TV, and bedrooms because people need blackout to sleep properly.
Yeah.
So, any curtain, can it be lined with blackout?
So any curtain can be lined. This would be a perfect example. This is a material composed of polyester and cotton.
Okay.
It would require a lining at the back. Now, whether you want to go for a standard lining or a blackout lining depends on the client.
Okay.
What I recommend is that in bedrooms they opt for a blackout. If they're anything like me, they need complete darkness to sleep, and they will achieve that with a blackout.
All right.
For an open plan, a standard lining is fine.
Okay. And when we talk about blackout, are we talking about 100% blackout here?
Yeah, so there are two blackouts available. The first one being this. This would be the first type of blackout. It's generally what people refer to when they say blackout.
Okay.
It's a dim out. It will give you 90% protection from the sun, so you're going to have more or less complete darkness in the room.
Okay.
A pure blackout then would be this. We generally don't like to use this quality because of how stiff it is in comparison to this.
Okay, so it stiffens the curtain quite a lot,
Exactly.
and that wave that you've got, that fluidity.
It's not going to come out that nice.
It won't come out so much.
It will come out a lot better with this, which is a dim out.
Understood.
We prefer to use this. With that being
Super.
said, there is also a third type of quality that you can opt for. Something that's picking up more and more because of how practical it is. It is a fabric that comes ready lined. There is no need to add a lining to it.
Okay.
It comes self-lined in the fiber itself.
Okay.
This, for example, is currently one of our best sellers. It is polyester based, but has the texture of a typical linen.
Yeah, it's lovely. I
And
love
it comes
the texture.
essentially with this piece already attached to it.
So again, it's not the 100%, but 100% and the dim out are pretty much the same thing.
It's a difference that you're not going to notice between
Okay.
100% and 90%. It's more or less the same effect that you're going to have.
Okay, fantastic. Well, good to know. I'm going to touch a little bit on design.
Yeah.
So when people come over and they see all these samples, they must get overwhelmed. And you've got a lot of samples which have patterns, you've got a lot which are plain. Is there situations where you say, okay, I'm definitely going to go for a plain curtain, or no, I think pattern is the right way forward here?
So today, with how the market is moving more and more, the secret that we have found to curtains is strictly the texture.
Okay.
We've moved away from these big, bold designs that we used to do in the 90s, for example, although there are still some places where we use them. Say, for example, an old house of character.
Okay.
If they have a sitting room or something where the decor is a bit more formal and traditional, then it would make sense to go for, yes.
Where you'd want to connect with
Exactly.
the classic aesthetic, let's say.
Then a damask pattern like so
Right.
would work perfectly.
But you know, in one of these new homes, you wouldn't necessarily go
So
for this.
in contemporary apartments, no, something like this is outdated and it won't even fit the aesthetic of the place. What
Exactly.
we'd prefer to go for then is a texture.
Okay.
The secret to layering a good interior is the use of texture, and this happens to be very, very rich in texture, as most of our samples are.
Okay. And when it comes to connecting the sheer and the curtain, again, is it color, is it texture? How would they kind of combine together?
So this is where you can get a bit fun because you can play around with different textures. The texture of the sheer and the texture of the heavy curtain do not necessarily have to be the same. They
Okay.
can be different. Actually, it's probably a plus if they are different because you're having contrasting textures, which creates a fantastic effect.
In Malta, obviously, we have a very hot climate. Does that mean we have to choose a kind of different fabric when we're choosing curtains?
Yeah, so with how hot it gets over here, it is imperative that the right material is chosen. Otherwise, if you go for a sample, say as polyester, it might not last that long. Clients who are south-facing have upwards of 8 hours of sunlight a day. A standard polyester quality, for example, something like so, which is the most common quality on the market.
Okay, this is a sheer, obviously.
Just a sheer, yes, will begin to show signs of wear and tear. after being exposed to direct UV light for a prolonged period of time.
And by wear and tear, you say?
The fabric itself will actually start to get roasted with how powerful the sun is. The color will start to fade for you, it will become slightly discolored, and the actual weave will start to tear for you.
Okay.
We've encountered this a lot. With global warming, it's getting hotter and hotter, so this problem is more and more amplified.
Right, so you don't recommend that when
for
the
sure
property is south-facing?
Polyester, for sure not. What we work with today is a new type of material to the market. It's actually the same sample I have here. It is called polyacrylic. It is 100% synthetic, however it has the texture of a typical linen fabric.
Yeah.
This is designed purely to withstand the sun. You can have UV rays on it 24 hours a day and nothing will happen to it.
That's incredible.
Yes, it's more and more people are opting for this quality, especially people, again, who have big open plan areas, lots of glass, lots of light coming in.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, this would be a great solution, I think, not even just for
It's
south-facing.
perfect.
Yeah,
in general, we recommend this quality always. Another good quality to consider, however, is a linen. Linen also has thermal qualities. It is not as strong as a fiber as polyacrylic. However, it will provide you with some thermal qualities, so it will keep the heat out in summer and the cold out in winter.
This is lovely as well, even in terms of texture. There's a difference between these two. I feel this
For
is more of a
sure.
casual kind of shade.
For sure, yes. What
But
you
very
have,
breathable.
Exactly. What you have with linen is that it has the richest texture on the market. It's the most sought after. We don't work with pure linen as much anymore because of how delicate it is as a fiber. This, for example, would be a combination of linen and polyester. So you have the look and feel of linen, but the strength of polyester. Also good quality, but again, when having direct sunlight, I would still opt to go for that as opposed to this.
Okay, all right, perfect. So I want to ask you another thing when it comes to curtains and shears, which again is a frequent question asked by my clients. In terms of washability, how difficult is it to wash these like very beautifully textured shears and curtains?
No, so today most materials are based on synthetic materials. So even this, which is 60% linen, the other 40% of it is infused with polyester, which allows all fibers here to be completely washed, even machine washed at 30 degrees. All our materials come with washing instructions available on them, so the client will know exactly how to wash them. And because they are factory pre-shrunk as well, they should not crease for you.
Oh, they don't crease. That's excellent as well. Okay, and very easily to remove.
In the washing machine, out of the washing machine, straight hung again.
Straight hung again. Okay, well, we've spoken so much about curtains and shears. Thank you so much. I think we should move on to pleated curtains though now.
Yes.
Okay, Isaac, let's talk about another gathering, the pencil pleat.
Yeah, so the pencil pleat is the most traditional type of gathering that you could find.
Right.
As you can see, it's perfect for a more casual look. The biggest difference between a pencil pleat and a wave gathering is how the pleats come out. So as you can tell, in a wave gathering, these would come out uniform from top to bottom, whereas in a pencil pleat, they come out more randomized.
Right. I often find them in hotels, even nowadays, but I think they're more leaning towards that rather than homes, right?
Yes. Mostly clients tend to opt for a wave gathering. They tend to prefer the aesthetic look of a wave gathering as opposed to a pencil pleat. However, sometimes it is not possible to opt for a wave gathering.
Oh, I see.
To have a wave gathering, you need a certain distance between each curtain in order for the wave to come out. Otherwise, what will happen is the curtain in front will hit the curtain at the back. Where it's not possible to work with a wave gathering, the second best alternative is a pencil pleat.
I mean, let's, in a way, very similar, at least this part does.
Overall,
it's not too different to the wave.
Overall, the general effect is the same. The difference, as I explained, is just the uniformity. For a linen like this, for example, this is a pure linen, it fits it perfectly because of how casual the effect is.
Super. So let's move on to the last window treatment, blinds. Okay, so here we've got a Roman blind. Can you tell me the difference between a Roman blind, say, and a vertical blind, and why you would use a Roman blind in a home opposed to a vertical blind?
Okay, so a Roman blind, the advantage of it is that it is crafted out of material. So generally homes have sort of cold environments as they're built, between the color of the tiles, the color of the walls. By working with vertical blinds or roller blinds or any sort of plastic-based blind, you are essentially adding on to said cold environment.
Right.
When you work with material, the advantage is that you're adding a level of warmth and depth that you just cannot achieve with any other type of
Definitely, and in the home you definitely want it to be warmer than, say, an office. So this is really suitable for that kind of warm, cozy feeling that most home buyers are looking for.
That's exactly it.
When it comes to the fabric, would you say pair it with the curtain that you're using, say, in the open plan, or go for something different?
So if the apertures are adjacent to each other or under the same roof, so part of an open plan, I would definitely suggest pairing it to the material of the curtain. For continuity's sake and simplicity's sake, it makes more sense to have them the same as opposed to different.
Okay, I mean, we spoke earlier about the damask fabrics and the pattern fabrics being, you know, not really what most home buyers nowadays go for.
Exactly.
So we'd opt for something like this, a shape like this, a Roman blind, but maybe something a little bit plainer.
Exactly. If the curtains are plain and textured, the Roman blind will be created the same. For display purposes, we've used a damask fabric over here just to display the type of material that it is. But yes, I definitely agree with pairing it to the curtain.
Being a designer, I love all things interiors, but wallpapers are my favorite part of today's episode. Can you just give us some information about these amazing wall coverings you've got here?
So this is where we can get to be a bit more playful and fun. As we base this off furnishings neutral in tone, in color, in texture and everything, wallpapers are where we can be a bit more adventurous, as you can see from the bold designs and block colors. What you're seeing here is something from our Van Gogh collection.
Okay, stunning.
Both this and this, they are statement pieces. For a feature wall, they are ideal.
So where would you say something like this is suitable in a home?
Nearly everywhere. They look particularly good behind the bed, so that as a feature wall behind the headboard. In an open plan, if there's a free space of a wall that you can use over there.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And so this is a wallpaper, because you did correct me earlier. This is a wallpaper and not a mural.
Exactly.
Can you give me the difference between a wallpaper and a mural?
So wallpapers, what they have is what we call a pattern repeat. So if you notice, the designs every now and then will repeat themselves. So if we take that sort of flower over there, we can see it repeating again there, there and over there.
Okay, right.
A mural will be one whole piece. There will be no pattern repeats. It will just be one entire image.
Okay, we're going to have a look at those a little later on.
Yes.
I want to comment a little bit about the texture as well. It seems really durable.
Yes.
Is this an actual paper?
This is actual paper. It is called vinyl. It is the hardest wearing wallpaper quality on the market right now. Not just because of its durability, but because of the fact that this is also completely water resistant. So you can actually get a wet cloth and just wipe it down. It's very, very resistant to the sun as well, so even if you have, for example, an aperture opposite the wall with sun coming on it, over time it is not going to affect it.
That is amazing, because a lot of people do worry about, obviously, sun being a factor.
Exactly.
And also, you know, we live in Malta, it does get slightly humid here. How do these kind of wall coverings bear in these situations?
Generally speaking, they can take some humidity. I mean, we haven't had that many problems over the years. Obviously, if there is a wall that has an extreme problem with humidity to the point where the water is seeping through the wall, we would not recommend going for wallpaper.
Of
not
any
because
kind.
of any kind.
Okay.
Not because of the actual wallpaper itself, but because of the adhesive at the back.
Which makes
the actual
sense.
glue would start to come off over a while.
Okay.
And what will happen, that the joints between them, which you can't even see here because they are lined up so perfectly, will start to show more and more.
And it's definitely something I want to take a look over here. So these are gorgeous. I love the texture here. It really reminds me of linen. Is this a wallpaper?
Yes, so this is considered a wallpaper as well.
Okay.
This collection happens to be called Linen Stories. The
Okay.
texture of the paper is reminiscent of that of a typical linen fabric. This, as opposed to, for example, something like that, should not be treated as a feature wall. This would look better, say, behind the TV unit or something like so.
Exactly. It adds a sense of softness, a sense of depth, just
Yes.
that cozy feeling that a home
That's
would
exactly
actually
it,
really
yes.
need. And is this a vinyl?
This will be considered a vinyl quality as well.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
It looks amazing. I really, really love the texture of this, and I just love the subtlety of it as well.
Yes.
Moving on to such an amazing mural. I love this. This is so beautiful. Okay, so being a mural, it's not repetitive,
Exactly.
but also a vinyl.
Yeah, so murals are available in two different qualities, non-woven and vinyl. The
Okay.
difference between them would be like so. So the image on both a non-woven quality and the vinyl quality would be identical. It's the exact same image that
Alright.
will come out. The difference is the visual and the tactile texture. As you can tell, vinyl is a bit more rough and coarse. The image sticks out at you a bit more, whereas non-woven is just a plain paper.
Yeah, it's got more of a 3D effect. It's got like a fabric texture almost.
More or less, yes. I love the feel to it as well. It's completely embossed and three-dimensional as opposed to this, which is flat.
And would the vinyl one be more durable?
In general, they are more or less the same in terms of durability and water resistance. The only preference that people have is just the look of it.
Okay, yeah, I do love the way this looks. And I do have a question too when it comes to wall height. So we can go to 2.6, but we've got some walls which go up even further than 3 meters.
Yes, for sure.
In these situations, in a mural situation where it's not repetitive, does that affect it?
So murals have recommended widths and heights. So this, for example, would mostly be enjoyed in the recommended width given here and the recommended height given here.
Okay.
However, because they are custom produced objects, they can be produced at any size.
Okay, amazing. So we can
Any
even
size.
go up past 3
You can
meters.
go up as high as you
And amazing. Thank you so much, Isaac. We've spoken about so much today. Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody watching at home, and make sure to tune in to another episode of The House Hack.